Thanks for staying with us. We start from the Ashanti region, where one of 12 pro-NDC vigilante group, the Hawks, wanted by the police in connection with the February bloody shooting at the party's office in Kumasi, has been stabbed by unknown persons in an attack in his home. Relatives say Suleiman Hussaini, 27, was returning home for the first time since being declared wanted by the Ashanti Regional Police Command when about 20 motorbike riding young men surrounded the Abrim Old Town residence. They stabbed him in the thigh and back before ransacking the house and took away cash and other personal belongings. Ohimin Tewia has more in the following report.
Suleiman's attackers stabbed him in the thigh and back before ransacking the house and took away cash and other personal belongings. Samira Hussein, his sister.
Then the two guys approached me and they were like, I should bring my phone. I said, I can't give you the phone. And they were like, okay, I should. Where's my brother? And then I told them that my brother, he hasn't been to the house since that incident happened. And he said, I'm lying. And then I said, no, it's true. And he was like, okay, I should show them my brother's room. I showed them the room and then they said it's not true. They think I'm lying. So they actually searched my room and then my mommy's room. And then one guy approached them and told them that their actual room is at the back there, behind my mommy's room. So they went there. And then when we got there, I was like, my brother is not there. They are just wasting their time. And they were like, okay, I should open the door. And I was like, I don't have the key. My brother left with the key. So they were like, they will break the door. And I even gave them the go ahead to do that because I knew that my brother wasn't in there. So when they broke this thing with a break, we entered and then my brother was there in his shorts on his sofa, sitting there with plenty 50 cedis notes, plenty in front of him, plus 2 phones and 1 remote. And then when they just grabbed him and then one guy called Tonku stabbed him with a knife on his thigh. So when he stabbed him on his thigh, blood started oozing out like pipe. And then one guy too used a scissors to stab him like on his back. And then they started hitting him like he's a thief or I don't know. And then they started beating him. So I ran to, like I was screaming here and then people started approaching. And then we just heard a gunshot from nowhere. We don't know, but then we heard it. We heard the sound and then the people started running again.
Akon was later rescued by the Kenyan police, who handed him over to the Regional Criminal Investigations Department. The family says it is unhappy police have refused to give information on the whereabouts and health condition of Suleiman. Relatives also accuse the security agency of failing to accept official complaint from them over the attacks on Akon. Samira Hussein again.
They are not telling us anything. They just said he's not there, and then that's all. And then they won't even allow us to write our statement too. They didn't take anything. As we are speaking right now, there's nothing like documentation of statement, nothing. So some of them, yesterday was the first time of me seeing them, and then the rest, I knew them like this social media thing, and then this abu thing, yeah. So I know that West guy, I know him, and then this guy, Mahfouz, I know him, and then Tonku, I know him, Baba Musa, I know him, and then the rest, I don't really know their names, but I know their faces.
Are you sort of, the family sort of scared of this happening?
We are not scared. Actually, we are not scared. They can't do us anything. We are just disappointed in the police, that's all.
From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohimin Tewia reports.
Now, the Tesano police have assured the family of a 27-year-old apprentice who was allegedly murdered by his boss they will get to the bottom of the matter. Kwabna Setre was reportedly stabbed 3 times with a screwdriver by his angry boss. After confirming the arrest of the suspect, Tesano Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent Odro Emining, said there is no way he can manipulate police investigations, as friends of the deceased appeared skeptical they will receive justice. Ifwa Evans January reports.
A week after the death of Kwabna Setre, his family and friends say they are still kept in the dark about the matter. The deceased got into a tussle with the boss after arguing about where to park one of the vehicles being repaired. He tried to stop the boss, who had grabbed the screwdriver and aimed for Kwabna's head.
My friend had parked a vehicle here, and his boss asked him to move the car, but he refused. He scratched the vehicle my friend was in, and this resulted in a fight. My friend and I tried to stop them, but his boss went into his shop and grabbed a screwdriver and stabbed him 3 times.
They were, however, skeptical they will receive justice.
We are more concerned about his wife and daughter. They need help. We also hear the boss is trying to manipulate police investigations. The law must deal with him.
But Tesano Divisional Police Commander, Chief Superintendent of Police Odro Amening, says there's no way the killer can manipulate investigations.
What is he doing to manipulate the police investigation? The person is incest. So then, how is he manipulating the police in the investigation of the matter? That's why he's not being given bail to go. He's incest. He was sent to court. That was yesterday. And then he was remanded to police custody and reappear on 9th of May. So how is he manipulating police in the investigation of his offense that he has committed? No one can manipulate the police.
His wife, Faustina, is pleading with the police to ensure that justice is served.
He must be imprisoned. Justice must be served. How can you kill a man with a wife and children? The law must deal with him.
Faustina, who has a 2-year-old daughter and just had another baby, has started receiving help from some benevolent people.
And A4 Evans January filed that report. Let's stay on the issue of crime because the Second Gender Court in the Western Region has sentenced a convicted baby thief to 5 years in prison with hard labor. Rose Mausi Fiaku grabbed national attention when she stole Francis Mausi Abibenu from the mother Nana Kwesua at the Takrade Market Circle on March 22nd, 2019. The boy was eventually found in the slums of Ifiekuma after thorough police investigations. Ms. Fiaku pleaded guilty to the offense. Her ladyship, Abena Achindoku, who presided over the case and handed down her sentence after a psychiatric evaluation proved Ms. Fiaku was mentally sound, contradicting claims by her mother that she was mentally ill. Francis's mother, Nana Kwesua, in an interview with Joy News, said she is pleased with a swift court sentence.
I'm happy with the turnout of events. Government has acted swiftly on this case, and I'm very happy. I believe this will serve as a deterrent to her just in case she wants to kidnap another child. She was remorseful and I'm happy.
Now, he set out to buy some items by the roadside at Atinga Junction, a busy intersection at Ahojo in the Ashanti region capital, Kumasi. 3 men then lured him out of his car, pulled a gun on him and pushed him into a waiting car and bolted. That's the story of Prakasha Chaudhry, a 30-year-old businessman resident in Kumasi. His kidnappers demanded $500,000 for his life. But there's good news. Prakash is safe from the grips of his abductors. Our correspondent Erastus Asari Donko has more in this report.
So the Indian businessman was abducted 7 kilometers from here. That's Ahojo, close to the city center of Kumasi. And just this morning, we found him right here on that stone slab this morning. And this is Akukwa Among, very close to Pakoso, within the Aswase constituency. Now, from what we are learning today, it looks like fresh information coming in, which indicates that he might have been abducted earlier than the 8 p.m. we were told yesterday. And from the accounts of women who have gathered here, they say they saw a green vehicle, a green saloon car, parked right here over there close to the primary school. And there were 2 gentlemen, young men, holding mobile phones, standing on that stone slab over there, and there were 2 young men who cannot be identified sitting in the vehicle around 8 p.m. yesterday. Now, this morning, around 9 or 10 thereabouts, we trailed the police who got information that he has been dumped here at Akukwa Among, close to Pakoso. And so we came, and it's true indeed from the accounts, when he was left right about the middle of the night, he went over here to seek refuge in a house there, and he asked them to keep him till his brother and the police will come. And that is where he spent quite some hours before this morning, when the police heard of it, and they came with the relatives to rescue him. We will go to that house and get the residents there to tell us more. So this is where the Indian businessman entered to take refuge when he fled from his captors. It's not clear how he fled, but we'll have to find out from the people who live in this house. As I say, eti chemi mukakra owura fie ha no no dia sam no kan
no to form ha say ni hunu mu nyina ye moja ni ebusa ne say obedide no so obanu mu nsu ntie pure water me no ya de man na gu form wono mo ti wonom pure water ni wie na ebusa ne say ye man na duro no na osen yan obenom ti mi sister radem na ye catch onfo esoro no nkwa brosan no so nti okọ osoro no mo no ana ye etin de command no honom na onom nti onom wie ya na ehu say ne bra ma ba omo be fa no
satan na boss en owura fie ha
me pa cha because me hear time na ye
ba na de achi
anope ya.
Well, so from what we are learning, he came in and went down on his knees right here and asked them to save him, that he has been captured by some people. And so she's telling me that she was sitting right here. They gave him water to drink, and after that they asked him whether he needs medication because he was bleeding through the nose and he had some swollen face and all that, and he agreed. And so they gave him some medication, and then they asked him to go up there. So he went up there and sat up there all throughout. They went in, prepared some beverage and gave it to him to take. Right after that, they waited until the police came in this morning. But let me find out more from her. Mama, Edia Samna or Katremo, no, or say, or more chin on where then with Timidjane.
Or say, no much training to or Jane home, or Jim not a man too. No, boom to a boom, no Johnny and no be ra, ya say ya, Jane or not. Or say, or didn't you a number man, so say, young friend. No for police for men. See, I have who say police for number. Or more than a call baby a
So she's telling me that according to the man, he was able to fight at a point, fight his captors, 2 gentlemen. He fought them physically, and he was able to liberate himself and run from their area. And so he actually fled from his captors before he entered this place. But then, up to now, he's saying that he doesn't know whether those people have fled or where they went, or that he doesn't know about that. But certainly that's the information that we're getting from occupants of this house where the businessman sought refuge.
So that was my colleague Erastus Asari Donko. Well, earlier today, the police addressed a media briefing, and here's what they've been saying.
Chudri, a 31-year-old Indian businessman, a victim of kidnapping, was today, Friday, 26 April 2019, at about 10 a.m., rescued from kidnappers at Apokwabon, near Prakuso, a suburb of Kumasi. As we speak, he has since been sent to the Confanoche Teaching Hospital for medical checkup. The police will later give full details on the kidnapping that took place at about 5 p.m. yesterday, Thursday, 25th April 2019. Although the kidnappers had earlier demanded a $500,000 ransom through Bitcoin, they wanted the relatives or the work colleagues of the victim to pay that amount to them through Bitcoin, but the money wasn't paid to them. The police had tirelessly worked with other stakeholders, including the Tesco's, overnight to get the victim rescued. Although the victims managed to escape, as a command, we are assuring the public that through informants and other good persons in society, we will get to the heels of these kidnappers. We would also like to use this medium to appeal to the general public that whoever has information on these miscreants to please report to the Regional Police Command or call our hotline and give any credible or vital information that can lead to the arrest of these suspects. We would also like to advise the general public to be conscious of their personal security and their surroundings so that they will not fall prey to such persons. So we invited you here this afternoon to tell you that as a command, overnight we worked tirelessly and we've been able to rescue the victim. And then at the appropriate time, we'll give you the full details of how the kidnapping was done and how we also managed to get him rescued. That we had one of them yesterday by name Akon. He was also declared wanted. When they brought him, he was injured, so the commander instructed that he should be sent to the hospital for treatment. So he's also currently at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital receiving medical treatment. So when he's discharged, he will be brought back to the station for further investigation.
The family says they don't know where he is now. They've been struggling to get access to him.
That I don't know of, because I know that when anybody wants information about their relative or whoever is in custody of the police, definitely the police will give them the exact place or wherever the person is. So if they are alleging that they don't know, then I'll be sorry. But I them use this medium to tell them that he's currently on admission at the Confanoche Teaching Hospital under police guard.
In a related development, the Greater Accra Regional Operations Commander, ACP Kwesi Fori, says it is still on a manhunt for 3 Nigerian men who kidnapped a consular general and head of mission of Estonia in Accra on the 18th of April. The diplomat was kidnapped at Laboni and held in a house at Lashibi. ACP Kwesi Fori says one of the kidnappers has been identified and is wanted by the police, as a landlord has been invited to assist in investigations.
Yeah, this is the car owner, and at the same time, among the 3 kidnappers had on a Spintex route, they kidnapped the Lebanese consular general to Estonia. And
this is the vehicle?
This is the vehicle, and he is the rightful owner of the vehicle.
Okay, but has it been established whether or not he was using the vehicle at the time?
Yes. The victim really identified the car as the one used to kidnap him.
Okay, so the police is looking for this gentleman.
This gentleman.
If you see something, do say something.
One thing I can say is that the police is poised and determined, to fight this type of crime. It is unknown to the Ghanaian, but what is happening, we've marshaled our resources, we've taken a posture, to work in partnership with members of the public. Looking at the Kumasi incident, you can see that strong coordination between the police and members of the public.
The landlord at Spintex, has the police brought him in?
I am aware that the regional CID has extended an invite to him, one Mr. Boateng, to report, to the police, and I think it's critical. He should help us in investigations.
Now, the Ghana Police Service says landlords will be held liable if investigations reveal that their premises have been used to perpetrate crime. Speaking on the polls, the Greater Accra Regional Operations Commander, ACP Kwesifori, who you just heard, noted that despite laws requiring landlords to demand official identification details of foreigners, the situation is not as such. ACP Kwesifori says the police will soon descend on landlords as it appears criminals use these rooms to commit crimes, often at on the blind side of owners.
Landlords will be held responsible, for some of these crimes, because you give your room to somebody, you don't have any detail about the person, no picture, no passport, no information, and the person, uses your premises as, a prison, unlawful place, to detain innocent people and so forth. I believe that the landlord should be looked at. An investigation will seriously, count them in. That thing need to be complied with. And landlords need to go strictly by the law, taking photograph, passport number, and so forth. And of late, we see another trend where a common 2-bedroom, you see 50, 60 people, foreigners in the house. Let us try as much as possible to regulate 2-bedroom. How many people are you supposed to? If you come for the house. For instance, we carry out an exercise regarding some of these foreigners, and in the 2-bedroom, we had over 50 people.
Well, he's admitted that the police lacks enough data on foreigners living in Ghana. Well, security analyst Adams Bona, who is also on the show, is asking the various security agencies to put together a joint task force to clamp down on foreigners illegally living in the country.
If you put in measures to stop them, put in more restrictions, make sure quality immigrants are coming in, then those who have already slipped through and have probably metamorphosed into something else, we find a way to stop them. That is why we say that the Immigration Act 2000, I think 573, thereabout, talks about harboring, aliens and harboring some of these people. They should work in collaboration with the police, work in collaboration with the other security agencies, and get this thing done. If you ask me, I would say that as soon as possible, probably, I don't know who has to do that, maybe the Ministry of the Interior, somebody maybe would have to do that, or the President would have to put a joint task force to deal with this canker, because then we are beginning to have one kidnapping almost a week.
Yeah, You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Arabo Kumson, and we're taking a breather, but still ahead. Government describes as false claims by policy think tank Imani Africa that the country risks losing some $30 billion if it fails to claim ownership of 2 oil wells currently under the control of Aker Energy.
This industry is a knowledge-intensive industry and requires a higher level of intelligence.
And in business, Exim Bank signs $300 million agreement with the United States to support government's flagship One District, One Factory initiative.
We are excited about the facility because it really would now show government's commitment to the 1D, 1F program.
Sandra Fenno has all those details after the break. Be sure to stay. Now, government has described as false claims by policy think tank Imani Africa that the country risks losing some $30 billion if it fails to claim ownership of 2 oil wells currently under the control of Aker Energy. Energy Minister John Peter Amewu says Aker Energy is not currently undertaking exploratory work in the new fields without legal authority. Imani Africa on Thursday alleged that government was allowing Aker to own the fields due to a relationship between a partner company and the GNPC boss, Dr. KK Sapong. The Energy Ministry, however, maintains this is inaccurate. There's more in the following report.
The think tank on Thursday raised a number of issues, including potential conflict of interest against the GNPC boss, Dr. KK Sapong, Ghana losing $30 billion, and the possibility of failure to meet a deadline to reject or approve an oil deal. Addressing a news conference, Energy Minister John Peter Amewu said Dr. Sapong has no interest in Aker's partner company, Fuel Trade.
The current beneficiary owners of Fuel Trade, it's common and visible for everybody to see. All that you need to do is to walk to the Registrar General and determine who the true owners of Fuel Trade is. We wish to state that we, as a country, we are meant for development.
On claims Ghana risked losing $30 billion, Mr. Amewu said the wells in question were not worth that amount.
And what we expect Imani to do is to multiply the price of oil estimated at $65 by a value that will be recovered, not the value that it's in situ. So Ghana, with the involvement of Aker, is rather gaining an additional value as a result of increase in technology and applications of a higher-end oil-enhanced recovery.
He further insisted government is protecting the interests of the country, adding there will be no such loss.
It is important to state that these benefits are spread over the full life cycle of the agreement. Therefore, for anybody to contend that these were exploration wells drilled outside the exploration period, hence any petroleum find from these works required a new petroleum agreement with new terms, is grossly misinformed.
Aker Energy is said to have presented a plan to develop 2 new wells, but this has been rejected by government. The company Joy News understands is to present new agreements to government within 45 days.
Now, you will recall that Imani had accused Dr. KK Sapong of possible conflict of interest as it alleged he or his family had stakes in Fuel Trade. Well, tonight, Fuel Trade is responding to those claims. The company has issued a statement on the matter, and here are extracts of the statement. Well, Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentil, has been defending the allegation they made against GMP CEO. He spoke to my colleague, Gifty Ando-Apia, earlier on The Pulse.
There is sufficient, suspicion. There is a lot of allegation concerning that. That is why we chose the words carefully and said, this is what is being alleged. And we said clearly that it will be useful for it to be clarified. Dr. Sapon has clarified. If Dr. Sapon wants to go to court to go and deal with that, that is all well and good. It is his prerogative. But I think that matter is very simple and clear.
They've given you 2 weeks to apologize. Will you do that?
Well, I think 2 weeks will come and then we'll see how it works out. I think this matter is very clear. Substantive issue is that we have found oil in this country, and government of Ghana has a share in that oil. Indeed, it belongs to us. And the point is that we are supposed to sit down with the people who found the oil and negotiate what our portion is. That is the substantive issue. As to the value of oil, the price of oil can fall tomorrow and it will change. We said that the oil is worth 30 billion. According to ACA's own estimation, they estimated that the oil is up to 550 million barrels, and it is possible for them to recover up to 1 billion. That is what they said. Using just 550 million barrels, calculate at the oil price of $50, you will come to the value of 30 billion. We know that not all of it belongs to us. That is why we said we have found $30 billion worth of oil, and Ghana has shares in that oil. Since February, we are not aware that we have had meetings with them to discuss what our share is and how that oil is going to be dealt with. That is the substantive issue, not whether it is this price or it is that price. And I think we should focus on the key issues.
Well, he's also hinting Imani may be forced to seek legal redress as it maintains government must negotiate a completely new deal.
We disagree with government when it says that there is no new petroleum agreement required, and that is why we say the law is clear. The question that the government must answer is whether the new fines are part of the existing fines that has made. If they are part of the existing fines, the tests that were conducted will prove that. It is not for me or for the government to do so. We checked sufficiently with persons who were involved in this, and we are informed reliably that the test came out to show that they are not part of the new fines. I would want government to confirm if they are part of the existing fines that has bequeathed to ACA. Now, if they are not part of the existing fines, it is not for me or the minister. It is the law that says it has to go under a new petroleum agreement. And that is why we say if we disagree, we will all look at the law and see how it will be interpreted in this context. It is written in the POD. This is what their intention is. It is expressed clearly. And the POD says that if we don't respond or the minister does not respond, it shall be deemed as approved. What that means is that then you are going to have to argue that you did not approve it. So we asked the minister, why is it that in the first place they should not even put those things in writing to you? Because we are the owners of the oil. They have to use a different mode to suggest that they want to extend. But here they are, they have said that, well, the economics of it is like that we have extended it to this point. And they have written it in a letter to you. If you do not respond, there is a principle in law called laches and acquiescence. If you don't respond, that principle works against you. And that is why we're urging that the minister should act quickly. Now, the minister says they've acted 2 days ago.
Yeah.
All well and good, but why wait for 2 days when there were clear things in the POD that on the first day you should have responded to? For instance, giving you preconditions on the fiscal terms. We are waiting. We've heard the responses, and the responses we've heard, some of it is assuring because it looks like there's some action. But some of it also is not satisfactory, for instance, when the minister says that there is no need for a new PA. So we'll continue to read the law, and if we believe that we both need some interpretation of the law, we'll proceed to seek the interpretation of the law.
Away from that, the University of Education, Winneba, is being charged to lead the transformation agenda to ensure Ghana's education system meets international standards. Deputy Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum, says the university's continuous input to enhance basic and tertiary education will boost quality human resource for national development. He spoke at the launch of the EUW's 5-year corporate strategic plan in Kumasi. Nana Asenso-Mensah has more in this report.
There is something that can be done in this nation when we change the way we teach and learn, when we put fear outside the classroom, when we take the cane outside the classroom, and allow students to feel our presence as leaders and adults, and don't see ourselves as sages on stage, that we know it all, and the children are here to learn from us, without deferring to them on some issues and getting their input in the learning process and saying to yourselves, I'm the one who knows it all. Write it according to how I dictated it to you and give it to me. Do not add anything to it. If you add something to it, you will never get an A.
Human Capital Index by the World Bank indicates Ghana will lose 50% of its human resource capacity in the next 18 years unless the education system changes. Dr. Osei Educhum charges the university to put policies ahead of politics in the national interest.
Unfortunately, those who are in education themselves are not the ones that they refer to as educationists. Invariably, you may have a professor somewhere. He has been at the university, he's taught some subjects, it has nothing to do with education, but he may be the one determining education policy. I want you, as educationists, eminent educationists, to step up and take your rightful place in this nation, so that the Ministry of Education will not move forward with education without consulting you, and that your ideas and operate in an environment where your ideas will be appreciated and your ideas will find their ways into classrooms and turn around the classrooms.
The UEW 5-year corporate strategic plan is meant to address emerging challenges confronting the institution. Reverend Professor Anthony Afubroni is Vice Chancellor.
Unfortunately, research input remains very low in sub-Saharan African universities. The plan, therefore, has strategies aimed at 1. Creating enabling environment that support research. 2. Conducting innovative research that takes into consideration the needs of industry and society. 3. Enhancing staff capacity in research, innovation, and knowledge transfer. And 4. Expanding graduate studies, research, and output.
Nana Asenso Mensah reporting.
And still on the University of Education, Winneba, the Vice Chancellor has broken his silence for the first time since the impasse at the university broke. Professor Anthony Afubroni called on all stakeholders to come together to smoke the peace pipe to ensure the university's image at the local and international level is not battered. The university was in the news headlines for weeks after a series of student demonstrations and agitations forcing the Regional Security Council to close down the school. Richard Kujonyako has more.
Never again should the university be visited with such an embarrassing spectacle and happening. These were the words of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Education, Winneba, Professor Anthony Afubroni. The recent happenings at the university, he laments, has left a negative image of the university in its wake. He says there shouldn't be any apportionment of blame, but rather a concerted effort at brokering peace, a tool the university needs at the moment.
The university has come very far in terms of delivering on its mandate and had gained much recognition locally and internationally. The event of 14th March 2019 was just unfortunate, and it's my fervent prayer and my wish that never again should such event occur in the history of this great university. Indeed, this is not the time to apportion blames. What is most important is that by the grace of Almighty God, calm has been restored on campus and academic work has resumed smoothly. I'd like to urge all staff, students, and stakeholders to let us all come together as one united body to safeguard the peace we are enjoying and to work together towards the development of our young but very, very progressive university.
The Minister of State in charge of tertiary education, Professor Kwesi Yanka, called for a reconstruction effort to broker peace on campus and warned against inner rebellion that could spell doom for the peace-building efforts.
But the final word to stakeholders of this university, let us see the UEW alumni play a constructive role in assisting peacemaking and reconciliation efforts. Let the alumni avoid the temptation of instigating an inner rebellion or stoking the flames. The social media is currently awash with threats of an impending mayhem from the alumni front. Alumni have played a great role building this university. Let them avoid the temptation of bringing down the great edifice they have built with their own sweat.
Professor Yanka says the University of Education Winneba needs a chancellor that could play a fatherly role in the affairs of the university.
There, and on that note, we wrap up Joy News Prime. Thank you for staying with us throughout the week, and have a lovely weekend. My name is Arba Kunsin. Good night.